This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, everybody. It's Monday at 2:30, so it is time for our Monday through Thursday 2:30 podcast. This is a podcast where you will hear the truth of what actually happened to you during the opioid crisis. The graphic up on the screen, we made some changes to the FDA genocide graphic, and there's actually one more change to be made, and I'm becoming pretty happy with it. Wasn't happy with the graphic for the that shows at least some of the scientific evidence that these guys ignored in order to declare everybody opioid addicts. But it does look like I'll get the letter off to Attorney General Pam Bondi this week, asking if she would consider criminal negligence charges against 3 people at the FDA. The more I look into this as I'm writing the book, and I'm making good progress on the book, the more I look into this, the more I realize these people need to be charged with criminal negligence. Not the least of which is Dr. Rigoberta Roca at the FDA. It's clear that the signature disease was well understood in 1990. There wasn't anything missing. Okay, the signature disease, that's a disease that's caused by a poisoning, a toxicity that nothing else causes. And what Dell did in 1990 was a fantastic job of revealing the signature disease. He did it with mice. He did it with opioid-dependent mice. Put them in withdrawal while he put them to sleep. Had a little operating room, opened them up, and directly observed the nerves controlling the organs, and saw that when the little mice went into withdrawal, it was the nerves that lost control. That's what the signature disease is. It's a loss of control of the nerves controlling the organs. And if you lose control of the nerves controlling the organs, you lose control of the organs. So those of you who have felt opioid withdrawal, that pouring sweat, the watery eyes, the runny nose, the pounding heart, the loss of control of your bowels, the hair standing on end, that's what happens as your body loses control of the organ systems. Specifically, it's losing control of what's called the autonomic nervous systems. There's 2 branches. There's the parasympathetic branch and the sympathetic branch. The parasympathetic branch is known as the rest and digest. That's where you get the watery eyes, the runny nose, and loss of control of your bowels. Just so you know, when you sleep, your body makes sure that your eyes and nose stay moist. That's why they run when you lose control of those organs. And then the rest and digest is the parasympathetic system. The sympathetic nervous system is the fight or flight, and that's where you get the big dilated pupils, the hair standing on end, the pouring sweat, the pounding heart, the feeling like something's bad going to happen. But more importantly, and most importantly, was Dell showed the surge in epinephrine in 1990. Okay, look at that graphic on the screen in front of you. Okay, you're looking at 4 million people that have died from adrenaline toxicity, epinephrine toxicity. Okay, the same epinephrine toxicity, the same adrenaline toxicity that Dell showed in 1990. There was no need for these people to die. Okay, the evidence was there in 1990. In fact, not only was it there, it was replicated by Chang at the University of Kansas. Dell was in Sweden, but it was replicated by Chang at University of Kansas. And this was good science. What happened is that when the psychiatrists came to power in 1992, that's when NIDA, National Institute of Drug Abuse, became a part of NIH, National Institute of Health. That's how the psychiatrists gain prestige and gain power. And now the psychiatrists particularly had access to money for research, which is power. And the science, the previous science was just flat out ignored. Okay, when the psychiatrists came to power, they were able to ignore the studies by Dell and Chang and pretend they didn't exist. And that's exactly what they did. They pretended that those studies didn't exist. They pretended that they didn't exist. And for that, I think they need to be face criminal charges of negligence. You don't just get to decide what science you want to pay attention to, what science you don't want to pay attention to. Okay, there are three very powerful studies that show that people that show that when a organism goes into opioid withdrawal, they have a surge in epinephrine. The first two were done with mice by Dell and Chang, but then you've got Kinebaum, the German anesthesiologist, in 1998, who did kind of the same thing with humans and showed that humans, when they went into opioid withdrawal, were given Narcan and put into opioid withdrawal. They showed a massive, what do you call it, a profound increase in epinephrine concentration. Okay, so the 4 million people that are dead from adrenaline toxicity, epinephrine toxicity, it's not a big surprise. Okay, Dell, Chang, and Kinebaum had pretty much laid this stuff out, but it was ignored, and it was ignored by the psychiatrists because, quite frankly, they're just not scientific in their methods. That's what it comes down to. They're not scientific. Okay, if they were scientific in their methods, they would not be able to ignore previous studies. But they ignore what they want to ignore and focus on what they want to focus. And they're the children of the academic world. Oh, look, a butterfly. Oh, wow, let's go follow the butterfly. They're the children of the academic world. They're not serious researchers at all. Okay, and this was known. Okay, Dr. Karl Popper, who's the founder of modern science, Popperian science, he's the founder. He said, hey, psychiatry is pseudoscience. It isn't real science. And that angered these psychiatrists. They're still angry about it. And I think that lies at the heart of what happened here. They're angry about it. They don't like being called pseudoscientists. They don't like being called a pseudoscience. And I think they wanted to show that there was something where they did matter. And so they literally made up this thing about opioid addiction. There's no science behind it, but it's fascinating to go through it and write the book. I'm so hopeful that the book is going to be helpful to people. But the more I lay out, what actually happened, and tomorrow I want to talk about. Over the weekend, I came up with the concept of, or last week I came up with the concept of what I'm calling a genetic blowtorch. A genetic blowtorch. I don't have a diagram for it. I don't have a visual for it. I don't have a drawing of it. But that's what happened. Is OxyContin was a genetic blowtorch. That 40, 80, or even the 20, 40, 80 milligram dose 2 or 3 times a day put the individual in a state of continuous opioid exposure, which from a toxicity perspective, a poisoning perspective, just made a blowtorch. And my guess is some of the people didn't last 4, 5, 6 weeks. They're before their DNA just was ruined. These are permanent changes. It's just a fascinating thing to learn about. And writing the book has been a learning process for me. Will I finish it in July? I think I will. I'm enjoying it, and I'm so hopeful. I'm so hopeful we can help people with this book. Anyway, I'm a little long today. I will hold here for today. Tomorrow we'll talk about the genetic blowtorch that was OxyContin and how that happened. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us. Don't forget to post this podcast on your social media and everybody else's social media. And everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.